you know how many times I've heard men, I mean, to your point of never have you met a prostitute that didn't have some sort of sexual abuse in her past. I agree with you on that. I don't know of a single woman that goes into being a stripper or a porn star or a prostitute or any of these who had healthy relationships with men growing up. I mean, I just don't know of a single one. But how many times have I heard, especially men, say, but I think, but some women just really like it. Some of them like it. They do it because they really enjoy just having sex with lots of men. They just really like it. They really enjoy, and I'm like, that's what you're telling yourself so that you don't
Yes.
realize, like,
Yeah.
when you're watching porn, that you're basically, um, uh, helping you're allowing a person to relive their trauma and their abuse over and over and over again. Basically, like you're participating in their reliving of their abuse over and over and over again every time you watch a porn. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. And nobody wants to, they want to watch porn and they don't want to feel that way. They don't want to feel like they're themselves kind of taking advantage or a predator in some small way, even just by watching the film, right?
Kim,
Certainly,
may I
sure.
respectfully interject here? Respectfully, sorry to interrupt you, but you again, I want you to hear this. Pornography is the entry drug to human trafficking.
Hmm.
1000%. Why? A human being, call him Johnny, has a desire. And Johnny is saying, some person should be exploited to my satisfaction, to fulfill my desire.
Hmm.
And Johnny will say, she's not being exploited. She wants it. Did you talk to her?
Right.
Have you ever talked to her? Did you ask her if she was abused? Did you ask her if the take you satisfied yourself on when you watched it was maybe take 57 with 2 and 4K cameras in her face with a director yelling, cut, do it again? Did you ask her if she in her contract, if it's organized porn, and most porn today is not organized. It's not the porn industry of Miami and LA where it's under contract. It is unstructured. It is contraband injected into veins that they don't even know what they're taking in, what they're ingesting. It's performing acts because owe a trafficker a debt, and now they have to make up money in porn. So when I say this, look at data. Look at how people are up in arms with something like Doge. Oh, corruption. I feel so violated. I feel lied to. I
Hmm.
feel like this is not right. When people sell someone's data and they learn that there's a data violation, right? Identity theft. They feel so violated. Think of rape. Think of sexual abuse where you actually don't want to do it, but you have to for whatever reason. You're in debt, you're in servitude, your life depends on it. It's a lifestyle that you are now in that you can't get out. You're contractually bound. Americans don't have a clue some of the pressures Hollywood elite is under, actually.
Hmm.
They don't understand that if you're a recording artist, you don't own your own masters. You don't actually own your intellectual property.
Right.
It is nothing for a record producer to say, you're sleeping with this producer tonight, or we don't release your album. And guess what? You're signed to this label. We will shelf your project. You will never see the light of day. You're playing into a person's deepest desire of taking their talent and putting it out there and saying, all you need to do is this. Talk to every single survivor. There's a carrot and a stick.
Right.
Always. They play to a deep desire. I say this, any human being where we know your greatest desire and your greatest need, you can be exploited. So pornography feeds the beast because it feeds the demand for exploitive content.
Yeah.
And it's a game of supply and demand. I've never in my life met a pedophile or a predator in maximum security prison or when we arrest them that did not self-proclaim to be a porn addict. Not one of them. I've never met a pedophile or a predator that did not use pornography to train children how to perform the sex act. It's inseparable. Porn feeds human trafficking. It feeds exploitation, and our nation is the number one producer and consumer of porn.
Yeah. Um, what is the solution? I mean, besides, I agree. We need to have specialized courts that can handle this. That can spot that the judges are trained. They know what they're looking at. They spot the patterns of abuse. They can see who the victims are and the line of or the chain of command and they could do all of that. But besides that, I mean, what else do you think? I mean, what else can we do? Do you think to I mean, it's just really disheartening to find out that our country is the number one country participating in all of this. So, what can we do to change that? I mean, what is it about other countries where they're not, and why are we compared to them? Like, what's the country with the least amount? How can we mimic whatever it is they're doing? What is it they're
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, you have countries that outlawed pornography. That's a good start. And we can't do that in America because you're always going to have the First Amendment as the defense.
I still
We
don't
would just,
understand that. I've got to tell you,
right.
that is what, and
Can I tell you? Can I
I'm a
tell you?
huge
Yeah,
free
it's
speech person,
wild.
but I don't understand how porn is free speech.
It's
I don't understand it.
it's insane, Kim. We were just in the Supreme Court of the United States. A case a bill we helped draft with Texas, and it was called House Bill 1181, and it was age verification for porn. Because we said, look, Judge, I go into Congress and I say, pull up YouTube, the free version of YouTube, type in the words anal sex, and you're gonna get graphic porn for free. 5-year-olds stumble upon graphic porn by talking to Hey Siri, and they just
Yeah.
stumble upon it. Now, retina tracking, you watch that video once, the algorithm starts pushing that content to a child. So we're
Yeah.
saying, hey, children are by accident getting addicted to porn. Can we please have age verification? We couldn't get a Texas court to rule on it. The Fifth Circuit punted, the Ninth Circuit punted. We end up in the Supreme Court of the United States having to argue that children should not get porn for free. The number one defense against us was the First Amendment.
Mm.
It's insane. It's like, oh, so you think our founding fathers wrote the First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of expression, for you to express yourself nudely to a child? This is
Yeah.
insane. Now,
I don't
praise God,
understand
we
it.
won.
Yeah.
We won, and SCOTUS ruled in our favor. But you will find that our largest challenge, you say, Yaku, how do we stop this? Well, number one, there has to be justice. There's got to be consequence. So when judges start ruling accurately, and it's not just put the right pedophile in jail, but it's also if there's a false claim against a man, right?
Yeah. Right.
That the judge is so educated that he goes, this is a false claim, because there are
Oh
people that
yeah, I'm
claim
sure.
falsely.
Of course.
There
Of
are,
course.
right? So you want a more educated judge for both sides of that argument. You don't want to be with a judge that just goes, the victim's always right. No, because some wrong people go to jail in our country, right? So you want an educated judge. Secondly,
Right.
we have to come to grips with the fact that porn does feed this drug. And so now we're asking men to say, help us fight human trafficking, but they're part of the problem because they're consuming product. Maybe they're not buying
Yeah.
a human being for sex, but it starts with it there.
Kind
Then
of.
they
I
buy
mean,
an adult.
I feel like OnlyFans is get like that's
Oh
like the
my
next
gosh.
step, right? That's the next
Oh,
step. That's interactive
83
porn.
million accounts, Kim.
Yeah.
More accounts in OnlyFans than people that voted for president of the United States.
Ugh.
Why is America number one? For that reason. We commercialized it. We gave it highest monetary value on earth.
Mhm.
So the traffickers of the world, I met with the vice chairman of Interpol. Okay. I met with him at the United Nations at a conference, and he's from Africa. And he said, Yaku, you do understand that every human trafficking cell desires to operate in the United States because they get more money for their product. We commercialize things. Think of football. It's an amateur sport, and we commercialize football to the point where it's a $12 billion industry where you can privately own a team. The Dallas Cowboys is a $4 billion franchise.
Mhm.
America is excellent at driving commerce,
Yeah.
but it gets really bad when no commerce is enslaving people.
Yeah.
So we need to first drink the truth pill of saying, I need to look in the mirror and ask myself, does my lifestyle contribute to this crime or does it not? And if it contributes to the crime, I have to get help. And
Mhm.
men can be set free from porn. Women can be set free from porn. If I have an OnlyFans account, I have to stop because it leads to human trafficking. There's no question. I'm demanding for someone to exploit themselves. So I'm asking someone to lose all their dignity and self-worth. Well, she goes on a podcast and says she wants to do it. She's manipulated and exploited. Doesn't know healthy,
Hmm.
right? So just because someone doesn't know healthy, we should exploit them. So we should go to Skid Row and look at a guy that sleeps in a tent, that doesn't have a healthy lifestyle, and give him more unhealthy.
Right.
Hey, are you hooked on a drug? No. Can I get you hooked on a drug?
Right. Right.
Where does that make sense anywhere else in society? But when it comes to our own sexual satisfaction, we start justifying things.
Hmm.
It's it's utterly selfish.
Sex is a drug most everybody partakes in. That's why. It's different than heroin, cocaine, or any of these other, even fentanyl or any of these other street drugs that, only a small percentage of the population are seeking out. Sex is something everybody does. And so people don't want to feel like they're doing something, and of course, obviously, there's many times when there's nothing wrong with sex, right? I mean, that's how human beings are made. That's how we all got here. But
Yes. Yes.
but like you said, the commercialization of it, the commoditizing of it has created a monster that we have to contend with. And we have to, at some point, I think that a lot of marriages are being broken up because of pornography and addiction to porn. And it shouldn't just be a morality issue of like, well, I just don't agree with you watching porn. It's like against my morals. It's got to go above and beyond that at this point, because it's got to be,
Yeah.
now you're actually feeding it, especially if you're paying women on OnlyFans or whatever it is. Like, you're actually feeding into human trafficking without, maybe you're not trying to, I know you're not trying to, you're not. But if we change even the discussion around it and say, you're this isn't just a morality issue because I just believe that you shouldn't be looking at this, for my own ethics and my own morals. It goes beyond that. It's that you're perpetrating crime. You're helping perpetrate crime. You're involved in the crime without even realizing that you are. Or maybe you are realizing that you are, but you don't want to admit it. You don't want to realize it. Really, you don't want to think of yourself that way. Whatever it is, I just think we have to change the discussion, specifically around porn. And I
Absolutely.
think more and more people are feeling that way, especially with OnlyFans, and with the fact that, it's a different world when, yeah, the LA and Miami porn scene where there was, contracts and whatnot. Now you've got women like Bonnie Blue that are just like, come have sex with me. I'm looking for 1,000 men, 1,000 lucky men to line up and have sex with me. That's not the same as a film where they're contracting people and signing, it's not the same. It's now a different world where any man that's sitting there watching is like, ooh, now I get to participate this time around. I get to
And
be in it.
it's a training ground. We do so many studies, so many white papers, Kim. I mean, this white paper that was written to prove this court, it's 2 years. Aiken Law did an unbelievable job. It's millions of dollars in research. It's in human behavioral science of just being, let's just be realistic. When a Bonnie Blue, not just to harp on Bonnie, anybody, right?
Right.
There's a belief system now in teenagers. Girls talk about this. Go to any college campus and ask them, what's your body count? And they'll tell you 12, 14, 15. And you ask them, will you date a guy with a body count of 5? And they'll say, no, he's a loser. If he hasn't been with 7 women, he's not desired. This is the Andrew Tates of the world that
Ugh,
builds this narrative, right? And Tristan Tates of the world that built, and Bonnie's that built this narrative of, you've got these years of your life to go make money and then you'll have a family. What nobody tells them is, go speak to people that did that in their 30s and 40s, and they're either suicidal or they're on marriage 3. They've got no relationship with their children. Their lives are shattered because their children discover mom's porn when she was 16 and
right.
17 and 20. Mom is carrying wounds that she's not healing from. She can't have a consensual, healthy marriage.
Right.
She can't have love and belonging from her husband. If you look at the conversion now, young men are actually departing where young women are engaging because they've now bought into, this is a way to make a living. This is when you look at young women now saying, well, a guy has to earn $500,000 a year. He's got to be 6'3" to be
Yeah.
desirable. That's under 1% of society on the planet. That's not a realistic reality, right?
Right.
So you're
Right.
going to compromise as a girl. You're going to give up stuff. So, and it's always sex, right? And you don't just get it back. Trauma, you said sex is a drug that is on everybody. Sex is the only internal drug.
Hmm.
There's no other drug on earth that's inside you that changes your brain chemistry, your heart, your soul, your belief system. If you look into this, the fastest growing university in America is not an official university, but it's called SBU, Sugar Baby University, where collegiate females are signing up to SBU. Go research it. You'll see Texas A&M, 3,000 girls on their campus. Purdue, the most liberal, the most conservative, TCU, Texas Christian University, Brown, Pepperdine. Go look at the amount of female students that sign up for SBU. Well, what's Sugar Baby University? They get a sugar daddy and they go on these high profile trips on weekends and they give sex for money to pay off student debt.
Yeah.
That says something about culture, that you got to sell your body, your intimacy, your vulnerability for money? No.
Well,
That's a
that's what
contortion.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
According of me, that is a bastardization of God's intent.
Hmm.
Sex is a beautiful thing between a husband and a wife, Kim. It actually is a bonding agent. Scripture says, for you will leave the house of your father and your mother, you become one with this woman. It is so powerful when it's right.
Right.
When it's
Right.
right, it produces life, right?
Right.
But man, when it is used for evil, it erodes a society. It shreds it. Look at the divorce rate and then look at sexual immorality or pornography as the lead driver.
Yeah.
It's shattering American families.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I know. I know. Um, and I blame this Sugar Baby University on OnlyFans. I just blame, I just blame the,
Yes.
there's so many
Yes.
girls on OnlyFans making a ton of money. And,
Yes.
and then you've got like the Andrew Tates of the world saying, well, they were consenting and they made a lot of money. I just helped them make a lot of money and they wanted to make a lot of money. And so I made a lot of money, but so did they. And, it's kind of like everybody won here. It was fine. It was totally fine because it's all about money. And, yeah, I mean, there's people, yeah, man,
Andrew
and
Andrew
this is a
goes on
huge problem.
podcast. Andrew goes on podcast. This is well documented. And he says, I have a degree I give young men. It's a PhD,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Pimp, pimp and hoe degree.
Yep. The pimp and hoe degree.
I mean, who in culture? So now he's preying, he is a predator, preying on young boys, young men who are desperate for love and belonging, it's predatory behavior to look at young men who say, I want a relationship. And how do I get a girl? Well, let me put you through my PhD.
Yeah. Treat them like crap and get them to work for you and get them to do all of these things. And, women are just to be used and abused.
Have three of them at the same time. And now there's girls that's going through the PhD to go, how do
Right.
I manipulate a man? How do I get the man to get his money? And we always say follow the money. Follow the money. If human trafficking did not make money for certain people, they would sell something else. It's the reason it's the second number two crime, second to drugs only, and it's catching up to drugs quickly. It
Yeah.
surpassed illegal arms because you can sell a human being multiple times. You sell a pound of cocaine once. We say in the court of law, when there's a drug case, heroin doesn't need defense. In sex trafficking, the victim needs defense. There's a person on the other side of this crime. It's not just a drug, right? You're selling a human being. So, which 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 I would argue is why our nation exists, is to abolish slavery, is to see all men equal, is to see the liberty and justice for all, not to create a new class of slave. And you're right, OnlyFans is probably culprit number one
Yeah.
in driving a cultural belief system off a cliff.
Yeah. And it will be the death of society, of our nation. It will absolutely be the death of our nation.
I haven't found a nation, and again, I'm speaking to behaviorism. So when you talk about Andrew Tate and Bonnie, look, they're adults, right? It's America. You can say what you want, but the behavior lines up with victimized behavior, deep hurt, or predatory behavior, right? I have
Yeah.
not found a culture in recorded history. The Greeks, the Persians, the Mayans, the Asians, they all fell because of the Romans fell because of sexual brokenness. There's a reason
Yeah.
China outlawed porn, Kim. Outlawed porn, but they'll give us social media platforms that proliferates porn in the American
Hmm.
culture. They recognize as a culture, pornography at one point in time destroyed our families.
Yeah.
Sexual brokenness on the perpetrator side or a victim of sexual brokenness, it tears apart. It never builds.
Yeah.
It will destroy our country.
Yeah. Well, because you build a country with strong families. I mean, that's how you build strong communities. That's how you build a strong country. And if you
That's
can
right.
destroy the family, you can destroy an entire nation. You
That's
can
right.
destroy an entire people. And that is something we should be protecting. But instead, we commodify and continue to encourage, and and there's so many issues with this. Yaku, this has been, I think, an eye-opening conversation in a lot of ways. How can we help with trying to get these courts set up, these specialized human trafficking courts across the United States? What can we do to help this first step happen?
Man, you're doing it right now, and in the public can support this way. We are moving towards in September a Senate judiciary hearing for the public to view, where we are really bringing in some of the strongest voices. And it's one of my greatest honors to truly tell you it's bipartisan, Kim. There's
Good.
people that are supporting us that don't believe what I believe in my faith. They don't
Hmm.
believe what I believe as a conservative. They're not conservative. And it doesn't matter because we're fighting for human beings and we shouldn't draw political lines and affiliations when it comes to should people be free, right? So it's
Right.
so exciting to see who will testify. What people can pragmatically do is call their senator from their state and their congressman from their state and say, we hear that this is human trafficking courts being discussed. They can go to our website, helpjbm.org. First thing they'll see is the white paper. They can educate themselves on how the courts would operate. There's a one pager that makes it easy for them to talk about it. They need to talk about it to their elected officials because that's who will actually institute this is Congress, not the
Hmm.
president of the United States. And I think people need to know this. This is not a Donald Trump thing. This outlives any president.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who's. This is a federal court that Congress, and I believe we're going to see great, and we are seeing great bipartisan support in senators and House representatives. Most importantly for these family members is if they go on our website, I want them to learn certain signs and signals that there could potentially be a predatory force in their child's life.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's catch this before it happens.
Hmm.
Let's identify a child's vulnerability and shore up, strengthen that vulnerability so that they don't fall for the bait of a predator. We can't just be doing triage, Kim. We can't just be retroactive. Rescue all the victims, arrest all the predators. We
Hmm.
have to go upstream to the conversation you just had of, okay, is their 12-year-old son addicted to porn? And if he is, how do we help that young man?
Yeah.
Is a husband coming to a wife saying, I'm struggling? You don't ostracize that guy that's asking for help and feed him to the wolves and blackball him on social media. Get him help. Get him help. If he's willing to get help, get him help. And so we have to do that. So education is going to be the key. Learn what to see. What do I do when I see it? And then understand that we need the public in this court. The public is going to have to ask their senators and their House of Representative members in the state level, but federally, to jump on board here and vote and institute this court when the time comes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we do have that website down below, helpjbm.org. Is that right? Um,
Juliet Bravo Mike, helpjbm.org. Yes.
okay, we do have that down below. Jaco Bujans, thank you so much for being here and educating us on this. This is such an important topic. It's an important topic for a variety of reasons. One, humans should not be sold, children should not be exploited, and also families need to be protected. Bottom line, I would not consider myself conservative or religious, but I am wise enough to know that families are the force that builds communities, that build societies, that build nations, and we should be protecting families at all cost. And that includes ensuring that there is a healthy sexual relationship between husband and wife, and not one that is tainted with OnlyFans or pornography or exploitation or desires that lead a person down a very dark path. We have to correct that if we're going to build a strong society. So extremely, extremely, extremely important in my mind, Yaku, for, like I said, so many reasons, but the
Well, Kim, thank
exploitation
you.
reason being
Thank
number
you for
one.
having me on. Thank you for having me on your show, Kim. And truly, I honor you. Really, I honor you. I respect you. I am ever grateful for your voice. And just boiling it down to, yes, we must fortify families, because this is a dark force that no human being can win on their own. By the way, you
No,
cannot fight this on your own. Thank you so much, Kim. Really respect you and appreciate you.
thank you. Thank you. Hey guys, thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show, which you could check out Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.